What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. I feel excited for this video, not only just because the blue couch is behind me and the wolf and the guitar and the bookcase just feel kind of normal. I'm also feeling emotionally normal. I'm not going to make a big deal of this, but just I unlisted the last video because I was not in a good place. I'm doing a lot better now. I think quarantine was getting to me. I was feeling a lot of anxiety, and ultimately it's not that serious. We're just here talking about music, and I just have to express my opinion, and I don't, need to try and worry about representing every other person's opinion. I just needed some people I trust to kind of hold me by the shoulders, look me in the eye, and say, dude, I love you, and you're overthinking it, okay? And sometimes you need that, and we all definitely need it in 2020. I also want to say before we get started that I've got some new merch, some very, 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 very limited experimental merch. So we've got one shirt that says Thicket. And then I have another shirt made over here that says, it's okay to think about country music, with a little mock-up of the Thinker statue, but as a Thinker cowboy. I feel like it is okay to think about country music, and you all know that I think Thicket. We didn't even print 100 of these. I just wanted to, see how it goes. The merch game's weird. It's, expensive. It's an investment, and I just want to test the water. So if you go to the link in my bio down below, it's just like gradywsmith.bigcartel.com. These will be shipped out to you. They're soft. They're like pretty normal sizing. I mean, this is a large, and I'm like 5'9" and 200 right now, so there's your kind of sizing. But enough about me, let's get to the point of this video, and that's that we just gotta check back in with Mr. Morgan Wallen. Yeah! Because I was looking at the Spotify top 50. I don't know if you ever do this on Spotify. You can go over to charts, look at the US top 50, and you can see the top 50 streamed songs of the day. It's almost never, ever, ever gonna include a country artist. Maybe you'll get one of those collaborations that Kane Brown does with Marshmello or something. But Morgan Wallen dropped a new song called 7 Summers the other day, and it debuted at number 3 on that chart, ahead of huge debuts like Miley Cyrus's new song and behind, the infamous WAP by Cardi B. As soon as I saw that number, I knew I needed to make another video on Morgan Wallen, just because it seems like he is becoming the superstar of this generation of country music. And I've made content on Morgan before. I did a video on him last year, just when he was at the start of kind of what seemed to be a turning point of, here's this guy that seems like a pop country star, he's collaborated with Florida Georgia Line, but he did this cover of Jason Isbell's Cover Me Up that kind of had people taking a second look. Days when we raced, we flew off the page. And then the song Whiskey Glasses became a giant sleeper hit that seemed like it was just never gonna stop being a hit. And I would say that his momentum has just not stopped for this entire year. It's kind of crazy to see. I mean, that Diplo collaboration he did, Heartless, became a big hit, as did songs he dropped like This Bar and his current single, More Than My Hometown, and then now obviously 7 Summers, which we'll talk about again in a little bit. To put it very simply, Morgan Wallen just has that X factor, that cool about him right now. And if you asked some of the Zoomers on TikTok, they might say they're vibing with him, or that he's like country king, or that he's like the CEO of country music, or that he's killing the game, whatever it is. And I gotta say, someone on TikTok told me to chin up King when I was feeling really down, and that makes me feel great. But it does seem like Morgan Wallen has that certain je ne sais quoi that just makes some celebrities pop, where every single thing they do, it's almost like they can't lose. I mean, even when he was arrested in the spring for some disorderly conduct at Kid Rock's bar, that was a positive press cycle for him. His mugshot was sort of a joke of the internet, almost in the kind of vein of Barstool humor. And I think he gets the internet. I mean, after that incident, he did a photo op with Kid Rock. To bring up Barstool again, he appeared on their Instagram page with Hardy and was playing beer pong with them. Not to toot my own horn, but he came on my channel, which is not a thing that a lot of country stars are gonna normally want to do. Morgan also became a father this year with his ex-fiance, and even that did not become like some salacious story the way I thought it might. People were really just happy for him by and large on the internet. But for whatever reason, whether it's just about the music, or it's about kind of the marketing around him, or it's just the fact that there's a lot of girls that simp for Morgan Wallen and like the cut-off flannels and mullet, he's happening. So I guess the question we're left to ask is this just hype, or is there more to this guy than a cool haircut? And as I've been arguing for a little while now, I think there's definitely more to the success of Morgan Wallen than just the hype. I mean, I think he's definitely a mix of a pop sound and a country sound, but I also think he's really good. I actually did one of those perceptual maps recently where you have 2 axes, and on one of them is country to pop, and the other is bad to good. And I would say he's between country and pop, and he's a lot closer to good than he is to bad. And the first and biggest factor in that is just his voice. Just like with Luke Combs, when I say, like, we just got to start right here with this amazing voice. I think Morgan's voice is crazy.
And the old lovers say, I thought it'd be me.
That's something I think I kind of overlooked on his first album, is just how different his voice is. That rasp in it, and the way he kind of yells some things but pulls way back. It's almost like if you took the vocal timbre of Chris Stapleton, not necessarily the power, and you mixed it with the kind of yelpiness of Eric Church's voice. That's kind of where I see Morgan Wallen.
Should've said don't buy no shots for no warning. Should've come with a warning. Ooh.
And I think his voice is suited to a lot of different things. It can go a little bit rockier. It can go kind of like smooth, sexy R&B. I think it works in all those places. And if you listen to some of these songs he posts on Instagram where it's just him acoustic, I think you might take a second look and realize, man, he's got something really special and different, like that demo, Written in the Wind.
And why it always takes her with it, only brings her back now and then. Yeah, I've always been wondering about the wind.
It's beautiful. I'm not always as crazy about this thing he does in his songs that's kind of this talk singing. Often it's just on like one or two notes.
Slipping through the moon to the river bend.
It kind of will remind me of like if you ever went to an Episcopalian church or something and they're like, pour me another drink. I don't want to feel a thing. It's so stupid. But I will say, it's unique to him. It's kind of his thing, and I think it's kind of working. And also, I am loving Joey Moy's production lately. Joey Moy is both like the most successful producer ever and one of the most divisive. You know him for producing the sounds of bands like Nickelback, and when he stopped working with Nickelback, he went over and started working with Florida Georgia Line. Until very recently, he was their main producer. And he knows how to make sounds that clearly work on the radio, but if you listen to a lot of music, can just feel like an overbearing wall of sound. One that can just kind of pummel some of the more nuanced emotions that you sometimes want to feel in music. But I don't know if I'm changing, or if he's changing, or if it's some mix of both, but lately, I think Joey Moy is hitting a production stride that is so much more agreeable than some of the stuff he was making early on in the career of Florida Georgia Line. And honestly, a lot countryer. I feel like I'm hearing so much more instrumentation. Currently, Joey Moy is also working with Hardy and then Larry Fleet. You guys know about Larry Fleet? He's got that song, Where I Find God, crazy big voice. He's awesome. I'm becoming a bigger and bigger fan of Hardy, someone I never would have expected to say that about. But anyway, I think his production style and Morgan's voice are a really good match. I just do. And I think this new song, 7 Summers, sounds really good. And I think it's going to be kind of a career song for Morgan Wallen.
But I wonder when you're drinking if you find yourself.
Now, there's been a demo floating around of this song for many, many, many months, and fans were so hyped for it to get released. And lyrically, I totally get that. This is like a snow globe of a song that Morgan Wallen is like shaking this memory from 7 years ago of this girl and him that had an amazing summer of drinking a 6-pack by the river, and he's just letting himself turn into his inner sad boy as he thinks about this time from 7 summers ago and wonders if she's thinking about it too. All the while, he's kind of heaping the sadness on himself, imagining like she's probably got a kid, she's probably got a ring, she's probably got a house. But do you ever get to thinking about this boy from East Tennessee? It's both a pity party and a sort of wistful, nostalgic moment in a way that makes it feel happy and sad at the same time. It kind of reminds me of what Taylor Swift is able to do so effectively in her songwriting. You look at a song like August on her new record, and it's that same mix where you don't even know if she feels bad or if she's kind of happily remembering something.
Sipped away like a bottle of wine.
There's that longing that's inherent in the lyrics, and I will say that the co-writers of the song, Shane McAnally and Josh Osborne, I think that's their sweet spot. They understand that kind of distant longing so well. But production-wise, I think the song sounds great too. There's a certain sparkle on it. You can hear the piano, you can hear the guitar really clearly.
There was 7 summers ago.
And I know some of the vocal overtones might give it this kind of 1970s laid back feel, but in this case, I think it works quite well, and it resists taking that sound a little too far and putting in a big drum pad beat, making it feel synthetic. To me, yeah, this feels lushly produced, but it also still feels really organic. I've seen all the things y'all have sent me where people are feeling really frustrated that this song is overproduced, and I saw people saying that this isn't a country song now, it's a pop song, but I just don't hear it, guys. I think that the new version is actually countryer than the demo. It's just not acoustic. It's just not like a basement tape of the song. And I think some of that criticism will wear off as people just get used to the new version. Sometimes when you get attached to an acoustic version, the produced version can feel bad. You know, remember how we all felt when the real version of Drowning by Chris Young came out? Except that's an example where I feel like the production did go too far, and it kind of did miss the mark. I'll be really intrigued to see if the streaming numbers keep up for this song. I imagine they will. And on that note, Hits Daily Double just recently put out a chart of the biggest year-to-date streaming for the country music world. And it was interesting given that I just made a video about this. And the top most streamed artist of 2020 so far, so this was like for the first half of the year, through July maybe, was Luke Combs extravagantly. He had almost double the number of streams that Jason Aldean did, and then it was Morgan Wallen in third place. Now, if you remember back to my streaming video, Morgan Wallen and Luke Combs both had just under 10 million monthly listeners on Spotify. So it was interesting to me to see this chart and see that they're in the top 3 when people that have way more monthly listeners like Maren Morris or Kane Brown were lower down on the chart than them. And I just wanted to put this addendum in here. As I did more research on what monthly listeners actually signifies on Spotify, it means unique accounts that have listened to at least some song that includes that artist in the past month. So people that have crossovers in the pop world or somewhere else, like Kane Brown and Maren Morris have a lot of those, they're gonna have a higher monthly listener count because more accounts are listening to them, but they're not necessarily getting more total streams. And you can look at the numbers of someone like Luke Combs or like Morgan Wallen and just say, damn, if they have a lower monthly listener account but that much higher of numbers, that means their fans love them and are dedicatedly listening over and over and over again. And now with the release of Seven Summers, I imagine Morgan Wallen's number is just gonna skyrocket because by all accounts, this seems to be a smash. It's like #1 all genre on iTunes. So anyway, I just wanted to make a video checking in on Morgan Wallen because it's not every day you see these kinds of numbers, and it seems like he's gonna be one of the defining superstars of this generation. So let me know your thoughts on the song. Let me know your thoughts on Morgan in general. Check out the merch if you're interested in it, and I'll see you guys very soon with more videos.